Peter Sam. Peter Sam is the youngest of the Thin Controller's engines. He was the last engine bought for the old Minnesota Railway and named Stuart. Like Sir Handel, he was brought up under the instruction of Duke, and although he was very fond of the old engine, he couldn't help teasing him like a lot of the other engines did. When Duke broke down, Stuart took charge of his train and couldn't help but make light of the situation. Duke waited for the right moment and then roared back to life, pushing the train up the hill and making Stuart look like he had needed help. When he came back to work on the Skarloey Railway in 1952, he was much more cooperative and enthusiastic than Sir Handel, which pleased Skarloey and the Thin Controller. However, his over-eagerness proved problematic when Henry threatened to leave without his passengers if he was late. Peter Sam was so keen to start back from the lakeside station that he left the restaurant lady behind. He was embarrassed to find later that day Henry couldn't have left without Peter Sam's passengers, as Henry was a guaranteed connection. Peter Sam's naivety has never really gone away. He once believed that the railway and the engines were going to be sold when in actual fact it was men choosing things to film for television. And when Skarloey and Reneus's 100th birthday came around, he thought the Duke coming to visit the railway for the occasion had been scrapped, because Duck had told him so, when Duck actually meant Great Western engines called Dukes, not men. And when he was left in charge of the railway for the day, he took the Thin Controller's warning not to bother Victor too literally. Despite engines breaking down and Reneus's repeated warnings, Peter Sam didn't ask for Victor's help until he himself needed help too. He was also silly to believe Sir Handel when he pretended to be ill. Peter Sam went to the quarry in his place and suffered a nasty accident, which caused a lot of damage to his old funnel. It stayed loose and shaky for quite some time, before finally falling off and after hitting an icicle hanging in a tunnel. Poor Peter Sam had to puff home with an old drain pipe wired up as a funnel instead, and the other engines laughed and joked about it. They laughed even more when Peter Sam's new special diesel funnel arrived. It looked like someone had sat on it and flattened it. However, when they saw how well it works, they were green with envy. The other engines didn't dare tease Peter Sam anymore. They wished they had a funnel just like it. But despite his faults, Peter Sam is a kindly and useful little engine, and always works hard to help his friends out in trouble. When the refreshment lady was looking for a new place to build a tea shop, he gave her a grand tour of the railway to find the right place, but she couldn't find anywhere that was entirely suitable. It wasn't until Peter Sam and Rusty found an old coach, which had been used as a shed for many years, blown over in a storm, that he knew what could be done. He brought it to the yard, and Jim Cole repaired it as good as new. Like all good engines, Peter Sam likes to be the center of attention as well. For 10 years he was a resident engine on the Tallyland Railway, filling in for one of their own engines. He returned to the Skarloey Railway for a long time in 1996, when Ivo Hugh was built, but returned soon after before coming home for good in 2000. Whilst there had been a nasty reaction to the tablet in Tallyland people used in the railway's water, which amused volunteers Kathy and Lizzie. He also had the honor of finding Proteus' statue for Miss Marvel's storytelling in the hills.